Libraries as gardens. Petrarch, the Italian Renaissance poet, lived in Vaucluse in France for 20 years. He lived in Fontaine de Vaucluse, a small village in the foothills of the Mont de Vaucluse. From a cave in one of the mountainsides a river flows, the Sorgue. Petrarch lived on a small island in the river and wrote poems for his love Laura, a girl he once saw leaving the church on Good Friday. In Fontaine de Vaucluse one can find the Musée Petrarch, a small museum dedicated to the memory of the Italian poet. The museum has a magnificent garden along the water of the Sorgue River descending from the cave through the village. Eventually it flows in the Rhône River after having split up and rejoined again several times. When you go around the Place de la Colonne in the center of the village and cross the bridge over the Sorgue, you can walk through a tunnel cut out in the rock. The museum is situated left at the end of the tunnel, and around it the garden spreads along the river. In it is a pond where two branches of the river reunite. At the side of it is a fall over rocks which welcomes you with a subtle noise. The color of the water is of a beautiful emerald green in which hazes of blue and purple shine through. Behind all this stands the rock wall from which the river flows. Everything is green and grey, and in spring flowers bloom to accentuate this beautiful view. Walking left from the tunnel you see the cypress trees along the path with roses in between. Turning left around the museum one more time along a row of cypress trees, you end up in an open space in which five huge old platans stand in a circle. Their trunks split up relatively low in huge branches which seem trees in themselves. They spread out so wide that they provide shadow for a large part of the space. On the left you can find a pedestal with a bust on it, a modernist portrait of Petrarch. Walking through the surrounding trees you come to the shore of the Sorgue with a beautiful view on the village. Walking back along the river to the entrance you can take another road along the river uphill. On the left you will find an iron bridge to connect an island between the streams. On hot days I have taken a lot of books to this island. It is a pleasure to read in the shadow of its trees in the cool air coming from the water in the river, which is permanently 12 degrees Celsius. Against the rock on the right side you can see remnants of the old village, and on top of the ruins of a castle from the 13th century is visible. It is where the Archbishop of Cavaillon used to live. A little bit further you can go to a larger waterfall which used to provide energy for the local paper factory. You can still see the factory with a large water wheel at the other side of the river. Following the path even further you can climb the wall from which the river rises, all the way to the top. But then you have already left Petrarch's garden.